Morning.
Some thoughts of what you saw out there?
Obviously, we're very excited about who that Midnight Bourbon is. You know, physically, he's an absolutely beautiful horse. He's moving extremely well, going over the track good. And he's better now than he's ever been.
He looks different than last fall.
Yeah,
Could
he
you
does.
explain how? He's filled out?
He's always been a big frame, and he's just, there's more of him in the right spots. And he's traveling really well and handling good. And this morning's work is as good as any work he's ever put in. But obviously, with what we have on his calendar, he better be good.
You were saying yesterday, Steve, you didn't want him to overdo it, and you were actually bringing in a workhorse to do exactly.
Right, tempo-wise good. The horse has been, you know, the weather's just been nice and crisp, and everybody's feeling really good, and just gave him a workmate to temper him breaking off. You know, just to find that rhythm that I think that is so necessary for him to have success.
He obviously likes it here. Would you go back to the beginning, how the road started for him? I mean, he's always seemed to be in the game.
Right. You know, he's solid 2-year-old form, kept very good company, and has matured into the animal we see before us now.
Could you analyze his Louisiana Derby?
I think it was a very good run, but hopefully it's just another building block to get us to where we want to be. It wasn't good enough. He's going to need to jump forward from there, but that's the timing of everything, the spacing of his races, and the training that he has put in since then is what we're expecting.
Steve, does it feel better being back on a normal Derby schedule?
Yes, absolutely. Trainers, horsemen aren't real good with change. We're just not. But yeah, absolutely. True blessing to have everything when you expect it to be.
To have him and Superstock, your thoughts about the position you have with a couple weeks out, less than a couple weeks out?
Well, obviously we know how fortunate we are to have these horses, and for them to be healthy and doing so well at the right time.
With Superstock, is it a different feel? It's got to be a different feeling coming in with the family ties and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's it feels like something bigger than you. You know, I mean, trying to put it accurately into words, and I think that, and I've said it several times, it's my parents' story, at this stage, and just very excited to be a part of it.
Is it crazy? I mean, as much as you've been through in this game, if you won that for them, would you almost feel better for them though than, I mean?
Oh, of course you do. That's what family is. You want things for your family more than you want them for yourself, and it's always that way. And I think that horse racing really allows you that, and I've been obviously very blessed to grow up in a racing family that we've been able to experience great victories as well as loss together, and that makes you that much closer.
Well, all the great horses you've had, but you haven't won the Derby. Is it just maybe that this is the one that, I mean,
well,
you get your arms around that?
You think of the horses that we've got, we've gotten beaten in the Derby, and it doesn't. The answer to that, it wasn't meant to be, So I think when we do win the Derby, it will simply be it was meant to be.
What did you think of Superstock's Arkansas Derby? To be able to kind of, track a little bit, and then all of a sudden, just a super impressive move.
I think Ricardo gave him a very good trip. I think that he was where he needed to be under the circumstances, and that's what it's going to require to have success in the Derby as well. I'm doing well and liking your chances don't guarantee you the trip or the circumstances that allow victory.
How many races did your son ride in? 2?
I'm sorry?
Did your son ride Superstock?
The first 3 times, yes.
First three
times, yes.
And one?
He had
2 of them, or all
we gave him a very. The horse was he was in the sale fraternity in Texas, and then the horse was actually in at Lone Star. The color person, the Silks lady, tested positive for COVID. They canceled races there. We trying to get a race in him before the sale fraternity because it goes by earnings, and he hadn't started. We sent him over to Keeneland and ran him on the turf, which he didn't handle, and then he went back, and then they ended up postponing the sale fraternity anyway, and so he got another run. So the start to Superstock's career was as hectic as everything seemed to be last year during the pandemic. With, you know, and Jenny mentioned about how comforting it is that races are running when you expect them to this year, and last year it was the complete opposite.
You mentioned running for 30. You were going to run them for, to be clear on this, maiden 30?
No.
What were you saying running them for 30? I was confused.
I misstated or didn't mean to say that or whatever. He was actually in a maiden race at Lone Star. It was a maiden special weight.
Yeah, okay.
But then they canceled the races for
Got it.
the foreseeable future over an employee that worked in the
Yeah.
jocks room testing positive. So not knowing how long they were going to be off, if they were going to start back up, just, you know, as the COVID caused many a place last year.
Have you ever seen your mom as happy as she was after the Arkansas Derby? I mean, that interview on
yes,
TVG.
I've definitely seen my mom happy before. She's an absolute angel and a special person and a human being that is always trying to be happy. If she isn't happy, she's fixing to be.
You were her assistant trainer. What was it like being her assistant?
She's tough. She really is. I mean, she is the attention to detail human being, and the success that we've enjoyed, I think, is simply growing up in the perfect storm. You know, my mom and her attention to detail, and my father and his horsemanship. I'm just very blessed to grow up in those circumstances.
You mentioned the horsemanship was changed. Did the LASIK issue force you to change the way you approach this derby?
Well, this crop has never raced with it, so I mean, there's no change for these horses.